I haven't told a lot of people this, but when I was getting out of the army, I had already paid $500 deposit for Lance Storm's wrestling academy, and I didn't go. You can show up the first day with me with hot dogs. I wouldn't mind.
He's taken though. Don't do that.
Yeah. If it came down to it, and I had to pick between going to a booking for wrestling or going to an eating contest, I'd take the wrestling booking 10 out of 10 times. So.
Welcome to All Angles Wrestling's latest episode. I'm joined with Megabyte Ronnie. He's the current Nickel City Wrestling heavyweight champion, former Nickel City Wrestling Silver Linings champion, number 18 in the world of competitive eating, a US Army veteran. He is the hot dog honcho, Megabyte Ronnie. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. How's it going?
It's going very well. Do you want to have you can have the floor, give a quick explanation of who you are if I haven't done it justice already.
You did pretty good, but hey, my name is Megabyte Ronnie, and I am the hungriest man in professional wrestling. I am now the 20th ranked eater. That got changed today, so no, don't feel too bad about that. I haven't put it out there yet. I am a professional wrestler / competitive eater, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You nailed it.
Excellent. You regularly say in interviews that you're a wrestler first and a competitive eater second. Why are you so quick to make that distinction when people kind of get it confused?
I think a lot of times people get it confused because they think that like I'm just here to have a one-off or two-off, or you know what I'm saying. Like I'm not out here to be doing this regularly. I mean, I would be wrestling every weekend if it was up to me. And if it came down to it, and I had to pick between going to a booking for wrestling or going to an eating contest, I'd take the wrestling booking 10 out of 10 times. So I just think because I was doing competitive eating first, people just assume that, you know, wrestling is kind of an afterthought. It just sort of took me a long time to get here, but now we're here.
Which of the two requires more prep work, more training for you? Is it the competitive eating side or the wrestling side?
That's a good question. I would say they're about equal. But in order to compete on the eating table, it takes more consistent practice and training leading up to it. I mean, if you go to a wrestling school and you get all your basics down and stuff like that, you could go out there and you could wrestle. And it's not like you have to go back in there and really learn that stuff. You have to go back in there. It's like a bike, you know, you have to get back in there and get back on it to stay at a high level. But if you did the same with eating, if you try to go to the eating contest without training for it, you're gonna do terrible. So
I like that you said when you're competing at the eating table. Is that the official term?
I don't know if it's an official term. It's what we call it, the table.
All right, the table, the ring, the table.
Okay. Yeah.
You're best known for hot dogs for obvious reasons. If you've not seen this man's people's hot dog, it's commendable. The most devastating move in all of wrestling. You need to check it out. But I've heard in other interviews, you've said that you also have a world record for the fastest box of cereal eaten. First and second, correct?
Yeah. I did a video where I was doing 3 boxes of cereal with a gallon of milk because they said they say you can't drink a whole gallon of milk in an hour. So I was like, well, I can drink a whole gallon of milk and eat 3 boxes of cereal with it. So I mean, I was doing that for a video, and I didn't happen to know, and I don't know what the time is off the top of my head, but I did look it up. I did set the record twice. So.
Do you have that official? Is that in Guinness, or you know that it's true? It's not official.
It's not official. So I do need to like reach out to Guinness, but I heard that process is very difficult. I've talked to other eaters who have done it, and I've looked into it, and it's not a very easy process. And they like charge you money to get into the Guinness book. So
it's every single award charges you money.
Yeah, I know.
What's the point of them? What kind of cereal was that? Because I've not seen the video, unfortunately. I've just heard him say it.
I did 3 different cereals, and now you're gonna make me.
I
don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I want to say one of them were Captain Crunch, but I cannot remember. And I think one of them was Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And I don't remember. I want to say the third was Cocoa Pebbles, and I think I set the record with the Cocoa Pebbles and Cinnamon Toast Crunch because the Captain Crunch, destroys your mouth. So. Yeah.
Cocoa Pebbles your favorite because you did that for the 15,000 calorie video.
Yeah, Cocoa Pebbles is up there for my favorite cereal. If I had to say my favorite cereal, it would actually be chocolate Lucky Charms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over here in the UK, it's called Cocoa Pops. So I don't know. I like that name more, but I grew up with that name. So
right.
As a competitive eater, I want to get your opinion as a competitive eater as well, who was stationed in Korea when you were in the military. I'd like to get your opinion on mukbangs. Have you heard of this phenomenon?
Yeah. I have got, I know about it, and I think they're cool. I think anybody who's making, content of all eating and stuff like that, it's cool. It's basically like, I don't know, you're talking, you're eating. It's just like, it's nice for the viewer. A lot of viewers enjoy that type of content. I did one with my wife. We did one where we were answering questions when we first got the leak back up once she joined the army and things like that. So I think they're pretty cool. They're not for me, but anybody who's making that type of content, I think it's neat.
By the time this interview comes out, because I'm thinking this comes out next Friday, you will have competed in Nathan's hot dog contest, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what next? That's actually 6 days from now, man. It's creeping up. I'll tell you that.
How are you feeling about it, given you've just said it's creeping up? That seems like a bad sign.
Well, I'll tell you this past weekend, Saturday, I had to go down to Washington, D.C. to qualify, and I did 29 and a half hot dogs there qualifying. And I'll be honest with you, I can say this because this could come out after the contest, but like, I really thought I was going to do more. I thought I had about 35 in me. And these hot dogs, these particular hot dogs at this qualifier, they're what we call slow dogs. Like they were very slow to get down. They were very tough to chew and swallow. So that was a little bit demoralizing because like I left the table and I was like, man, I have a lot of room. So if the dogs are good, for the 4th of July, I think I'm gonna really do well, but we'll just have to see.
Talk to me about the stress of qualifying this year, because I know you had some flight cancellation issues that are totally out of your control, and then having to travel to DC, all these sorts of things.
Well, see, here's the thing: like we didn't know if we're going to have to qualify this year, because last year what Major League Eating did because of COVID is they just brought in, I think, the top 16 men and the top 16 women. And I think I barely squeaked in there. So this year I knew going into it that I was probably going to have to do a qualifier, but they didn't announce a qualifier until like a month ago. And they called me a month ago and said, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the top 10 men and the top 10 women, and everybody else is going to have to qualify. And we're only doing 2 qualifiers, one in Oakland, which was 2 weeks ago, and then one in Washington, D.C., which was last week. And I said, oh, well, that's fine. I'll go to Oakland, and if I don't win Oakland, if I don't make it to Oakland, I'll just go to Washington, D.C., right? Well, man, my flight got canceled to Oakland, so it was pretty much do or die in Washington, D.C. So I think that helps me a lot. Like when I have the adrenaline and when I have to perform, I seem to step my game up. So I finished second in that one. I beat the 12th ranked eater in the world. So he finished third. So I did well. It helped me out.
I think the story powers you through the drama of it, the lifetime original movie feel that you get by, oh, my flight's cancelled. This is the last opportunity. I've got to do it. That's great. Your YouTube channel, you've already mentioned your wife, so I'm now going to ask about her somewhat. Your YouTube channel went on a slight hiatus because she began military training. How important is she when it comes to you chasing your dream as a wrestler and as a competitive eater, given I think you said in videos she makes you feel more comfortable when you're making the videos themselves? How important is she to that process?
She's super important, man. Like I don't know if I would be doing any of these things if it wasn't for her, to be honest with you. I mean, just to have someone there to constantly support me, somebody to sit there and tell me these things that I'm trying to do, that I can do. And to be honest with you, I'm a little bit of I'm like a balloon, right? And I like to think of her as my anchor. If it wasn't for her, I'd just wander away and get lost, because I'm the type of guy that, I see a new hobby and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to be the best in the world at this hobby. I would have done changed it like 17 different things, but she keeps me grounded. She keeps me focused and she keeps me motivated. So she's everything.
You said she's just started training. She's going to her first, like what's that process like? Because I've not got any firsthand experience with that sort of thing.
So when you go to join the Army, basically you go to basic training, and that's where they send everybody. You do your 9 weeks there. That's pretty much just teaching you the basic things. And then she went off to officer school where she learned how to be an officer, and then she learned how to do her job. Now where we're at is her first duty station. So she's in there. She's working every day. I mean, it's just like an 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's pretty much just like a civilian job she's working. She's been doing that for about 5-6 months now. So I mean, we've been out here at our first duty station for about 5 months, and so really she's rolling up on almost a year. So
Is that still? Are you still based in Buffalo with that, or have you guys had to move elsewhere?
no, we had to move. So she's stationed at Fort Drum, New York, which is about 3 hours away from Buffalo, which is nice because her family's from Buffalo. You know, we can go. It's only a 3 hour drive, so we go there and visit every now and then.
Did the two of you meet because of the military? Just that's the first connection in my mind.
It's funny actually. I had been out of the military for close to 10 years before she joined, and we were already married when she joined. So like I thought I was done with it. You know, like there was no she wasn't in when we got together, and she wasn't in when we got married. What was the question? Sorry.
Oh, it was just if you guys had met because of the military.
No, we actually met on Tinder.
Oh, okay. That's so many, you know, everyone says that. It was
She
like
super liked me, so
that's a good sign. That's a good sign. And also leads into a follow-up question for that. Is food the way to someone's heart?
Definitely. I mean, that's I don't know. I think it has something to do with just the connections it makes, because you hit so many senses. You know, you got taste, you got sight, you got smell. Like you just hit all those senses. So it just that's the way to get to somebody's heart.
What's your go-to romantic meal, or even just your signature dish?
Chicken cordon bleu.
Ooh, for both? Yeah. Answer for both?
Yeah. For well, yeah, I would say the answer for both would be chicken cordon bleu, because you don't, you know, chicken cordon bleu, you just don't whip that bad boy up. You got to do some prepping for that. So.
That shows you've taken time. That's, you know, if you show up to the first date with hot dogs, that's not.
You can show up the first date with me with hot dogs. I wouldn't mind.
He's taken though. Don't do that. Yeah. We've already touched on it slightly that you yourself are a U.S. Army vet, but you're also a Army brat. Am I using that term correctly? You were around the military.
Yeah.
I know that your father was stationed in Germany. That was where you first discovered professional wrestling. Where else was he stationed? Where else did you travel when you were growing up?
So my dad was I was born in Fort Polk, Louisiana. We went to Germany, and then we went to Fort Rucker, Alabama, and then we went to Tupelo, Mississippi. So that was my journey as a kid with my dad in the Army.
Which of those locations was your favorite? Was it living somewhere different in Germany, or getting to experience more of the US?
I probably Mississippi, to be honest with you. For whatever reason, I still have friends from then, and I was real young, like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. I still have friends from then that I still talk to and play video games with to this day. So I had a lot of good friends out there. So probably there.
It feels like a lot of, and maybe this is just the kind of wrestlers I follow on social media, but it feels like a lot of professional wrestlers have similar military background, or in some way been involved, whether it be growing up or when they became of age to join. Why do you think that is? Is there a similarity in lifestyle? Is it just the constant travel? What do you think connects those two things?
I don't know. I think the military really takes you and makes you realize that you could do something that you didn't think you could do. So like if you're someone who wants to be a wrestler, but you don't know if you can really go through with it, you don't know if you can do the training, the bumping, you know, things like that, getting in shape, all that stuff. Military is like the same thing. And with the military, there's no backing out. You know what I'm saying? You get that contract, you get the basic training, and they make it happen. So I would just say that the military teaches you about how to really chase what you're after, I guess is the best way to put it.
Excellent. I'm going to play a very fast game with you. It fits in with the fact we're going quickly this evening. But I've been doing it on every episode. It's a game I invented with my work outside of interviews. It's called Rush Mount More. The basic idea is I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and I want you to name your top 4 in the subject I'm about to give you in no particular order. It's not like stacking it 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just the big 4 in that answer. So with growing up, you lived in Germany. When you were in the military, you were in Afghanistan and you're in Korea. I want to ask you, Megabyte Ronnie, in 30 seconds, what are your top 4 foods you've eaten overseas?
Top 4 foods I'd eat overseas will probably be kebab in Afghanistan, will probably be bulgogi in Korea, and then probably kimchi number 3, and then for number 4, I was too young to remember it, but I'm sure I had a good sausage in Germany. So we'll just say that.
I was waiting for currywurst, but I think sausages are good. Basically, I went with friends because Korean barbecue is obviously all over the world now. To like all you can eat Korean barbecue, and they stopped me ordering more bulgogi beef because I clearly have a problem. But I've got your sign off.
yeah, you do. That's
good. Now that we've got all the other elements of your life out of the way, it is now time to talk about wrestling. The main reason I'm speaking to you today. I'm going to start with what I think is the hardest question, but hopefully you've trusted me enough now with my questions about bulgogi beef to answer this question. So you said that as soon as you got out of the army at 24, you knew that you wanted to be a wrestler. You wanted to do that training. You wanted to pursue that. But it took you 5 years until you were 29 to actually pursue it. And you said that doing that got you out of a rough patch and that pursuing it was your last resort. What situation was it you found yourself in, if you don't mind touching on that a little bit more?
Yeah, so when I got out of the army, I just went to go do things on my own. Like I got my own, apartment and things like that, my own job and stuff like that. And basically, I was getting fired from jobs. I was going job to job. I was running out of money. I got out of the military with a decent amount of money saved up, and because I wasn't working, I was partying. I was basically trying to experience college because I didn't get to go to college because I was in the military, and I ran out of money, and then I had to move back in with my mom, and there I was at 29 years old. I was living with my mom. I was working a job that was from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I had no social life because I was working the night shift on weekends. And pretty much I was just at the point where like, what do I even got going for me right now? And luckily enough for me, one of my friends from the army who lived in Buffalo was just like, hey man, just come up here, move in with me and we'll figure it out. And, basically once I did that, my life did a complete 180.
That's a great story and a nice like highlighting of how good wrestling can be, because I think a lot of the time when it comes to looking back on the history of wrestling, we only focus on the negative sides just because there's quite a lot of them. It's nice hearing elements that have been a positive change for the people that get involved in the industry.
Yeah, I haven't told a lot of people this, but when I was getting out of the army, I had already paid $500 deposit for Lance Storm's wrestling academy, and I didn't go. I just chickened out.
Why was that? Was that just you didn't think you were ready, or?
I just doubted myself, to be honest with you. It took a long time before I really believed in myself. So I was just, it was just sort of like, what's the point of going to this school and doing this thing when I'm just going to be a failure? So I mean, I just really dealt with that for a long time.
But you said that the reason you eventually went and did it was because you couldn't see what else was going on around you. So along the way between the Lance Storm thing and getting to that 29, what was it that helped you find the confidence that you thought I can at least try?
I guess honestly what it was, I don't even know if it was confidence as much as it was just a last ditch effort. You know what I'm saying? I think at 29 years old, I said, all right, well, if I'm ever going to do this, I have to do this right now because I'm not getting any younger. When you're 24 and you're looking at going to a wrestling school, you can say, I'll go next year. I'll go 2 years from now. Well, let me get some money and then I'll go, or let me get in shape and then I'll go, and things like that. But 29 was really one of those like, oh man, it's really now or never. So that's what really, kicked my ass in gear.
Starting wrestling at 29, it feels like, I mean, you've referenced yourself as this generation's DDP who famously started quite late in terms of training. How do you get looked at?
I wish I could take that back, to be honest with you.
Really?
Because like I'm just Megabyte Ronnie. I'm not in the category with DDP. He's amazing. I was just trying to relate the fact that I started real young, and but I at the same time I'm nowhere near Dallas's level. I hope to get there one day, but not yet.
I hope to see you there at that level. But how are you treated when you start wrestling at that age? I'm assuming there's younger people there. Maybe trainers don't believe in you as much, or they think he won't be able to do it. He's too old already. How do you get treated?
I got treated very well, to be honest with you. I got lucky that I just randomly decided to go to Buffalo, New York, and the Grapplers Anonymous was there. A great training school. Uh, Brandon Thurston was training there. Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics, Mikey Evernight. Those two were the main trainers. And then I was going to wrestling school with Kevin Blackwood, Daniel Garcia, and Puff. And, those guys are great, and they're great wrestlers, and they were always supportive of me. So I don't think there was anybody ever telling me once I got there that I was too old. If anything, they were, maybe blowing too much smoke up my ass and tell me, tell me I was going to be
Tell you you're the next DDP.
yeah. I know. Then I go out there and said some stupid things when I got early. So
lump it all on them. It's there. But that's
Yeah.
it. So Buffalo has obviously created a huge number of wrestlers in the last couple of years with the existence of AEW. It's shining more of a light on those people, but even people from the same area are getting opportunities all over the US. Do you think that Buffalo is the new hotbed for professional wrestling training? And is it because of this sort of positivity and support that you get from the community?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not familiar enough with what cities everybody else is training in to say that Buffalo is the best. But in my viewpoint, when you produce, Daniel Garcia, Kevin Blackwood, Kevin Bennett, Puff, Megabyte Ronnie, Butcher, Blade, Thurston, every night, like the list goes on. And there's guys that train in Buffalo and mostly wrestle in Buffalo that are great enough to be everywhere. So it's a very, very good city for wrestling. And not only is the talent very good, I think there's good people behind the scenes, and there's a lot of people, Mikey Evernight, especially who wanted to clean up the scene and make wrestling a good place for humans, to be at. So I think the fact that you got good human beings and good wrestlers, it's really hard to beat Buffalo right now.
Good to hear. I don't want to keep coming back to age because I hate when anyone makes that an entire conversation. Yeah. It's not fair on performers like that have been, it's not fair on anyone to make a conversation about age. But a direct quote from you from a previous interview is, "I'm 31 years old. I only have so much time before I have to hang it up." Are you already thinking about things like in-ring retirement? Is that already something at the back of your mind?
I think when that comment was made, and I think for a long time, when I first got started, honestly, until about 6 months ago, or maybe a little bit longer than that, but I think in my head that it was get signed to WWE or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the only goal. And now where I am in professional wrestling, I really don't give a fuck about getting signed, to be honest with you. I just want to be wrestling every weekend. It doesn't matter if it's on TV. It doesn't matter if it's in front of 5 people, in front of 500 people, or whatever. I just really love being a part of wrestling, and I really love independent wrestling right now. So I don't have any plans to hang it up anytime soon. I was, like I said, I was being a mark when I first got in, but now I just enjoy the process.
I mean, I am so happy to hear you say that you're not thinking about it. Less happy about the just being a marked comment, because aren't we all? Yeah. But I'm really glad to hear about that. In your 15,000 calorie eat extravaganza video, you said that people with muscular definition struggle when it comes to their cardiovascular ability. How important do you think something like physical appearance is in wrestling versus being able to perform in ring to a great extent?
I think physical appearance now is becoming, well, the bodybuilding appearance is becoming less like a thing you have to do. I think wrestling's welcoming all shapes and sizes nowadays. So I don't think that if your goal is to get signed, that you have to get a 8-pack and, look like a bodybuilder. I think different sizes and shapes is fantastic for wrestling, but regardless of your shape or your size, cardiovascular is so very important. If you're getting gassed 6, 8, 10 minutes into your matches, then you're just not going to be able to hang and perform and put on the type of matches that other people are putting out there. And at the end of the day, there's only so many spots for a card. And if you're cardiovascular, if you're getting gassed during a match, like that could be one of the things holding you back for sure.
This is something that's come up this week, but it's not an odd occurrence. Unfortunately, it happens on Twitter quite regularly, but people have been, mocking. The biggest example is like Adam Cole talking about his body proportions, etc. What are your thoughts on body shaming within the wrestling fan community?
I think a lot of that happens because people are getting to talk anonymously behind an avatar. I think those people who are body shaming people should really stop and think. Adam Cole, he's just trying to live, man. He's just trying to, and he's just trying to do it the best that he can, just like we all are. Like we're all just trying to do the best that we can. And you got to think about it. Like if you're out there and you're body shaming another individual, I guarantee you wouldn't like it if somebody was shaming your body. So like because these guys, and girls, because we all perform in front of our latex, in our latex underwear, people think it's fun, fair to body shame us, but I don't think so. I think I don't like it one bit, to be honest with you.
Not fair. I'll leave you with some level of positivity because I've realized that's quite of a down question to finish on. In preparing for this interview, I've made sure to check out every other interview you've done. You've had two from people in Spanish-speaking countries. I can't even speak English right now, so this is pointless. Two from people in Spanish-speaking countries, one from a French person, and I'm now speaking to you from Glasgow, Scotland. How does it feel to have this sort of global attention, even if it's just one or two people?
It feels really good just to know I have anybody supporting me, much less people supporting me that are in different countries or I'm just really blessed, to be honest with you, to have picked up the fan base that I've picked up and the amount of time that I have. I really haven't had a lot of matches and things like that, but I feel like I've tried to make the most of every opportunity that I've been given. And as long as I keep doing that, that's all I can control. And the fact that I got these fans all over the place just really makes me feel good. It makes me realize that what I'm doing is working. And then hopefully one day I just keep doing this and it all takes off.
I know you want to wrestle in Japan, Mexico, Germany, UK, anywhere globally. Is there more places you want to add to that list? Is there anywhere that you're maybe in discussions about potentially showing up in?
I don't think I'm really in discussions for showing up anywhere that I haven't showed up previously. I don't think there's some big surprise coming here soon. If I had to pick somewhere where I wanted to wrestle, that's rough. Honestly, it's gonna sound lame, but I want to wrestle in North Carolina because my mom has never got to see me wrestle live in person, and she's down there in North Carolina. So if there was a chance for me to wrestle in North Carolina, that would mean the world to me, and I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Well, hopefully some element of me speaking to you today can help make that happen. I'm sure it'd be, I'd love to see it. Yeah. Not physically in person, but yeah. I'd love to see you get that opportunity. Family's so important to wrestling, whether it's the wrestling family or our actual family. So thank you very much for taking time to speak to me today and to speak to All Angles Wrestling. Is there anything you'd like to say to anyone that might be watching right now, Ronnie?
If you're out there and you want to do it, then go do it. Whether that be wrestling, podcasting, interviewing, Twitch streaming, or whatever. I think at the end of the day, if you go and try and do something and you fail, you're going to be a lot more satisfied than if you sit around and you don't try. So if there's something out there that you're thinking about doing or something out there that you've always wanted to do, the Megabyte Ronnie is telling you to get off your ass and go do it right now.
That's the inspiration you need. Thank you very much for being here, Ronnie. Thank you very much to everyone else for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for checking out All Angles Wrestling. You can catch more of us on Twitter at All Angles Rest. If you're listening to us in podcast form, remember you can check out our YouTube channel for exclusive clips and more interviews. And if you're here on our YouTube account, you can always catch us on the go by looking up our podcast on your favorite podcasting app. Thank you for checking out All Angles Wrestling. We'll see you next time.